It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Perry, and today's guest is Ron Henderson Jr., my man. I'm very, very happy to have him on here. One second, Ron, 1 second here. My man, I'm very, very happy to have him. All right. So I'm very happy to have my guest here. You know, this is the second time around. It's take two, and I want this podcast to really come out to be like Really Charlie really does it. You know, I wanted to come out and real nice and smooth. Well, this guest is a music production. He's a music producer. He runs a production company experiencing all genres of music. They are all self-contained production company that can afford to help you get your lyrics, melodies set to complete a production at a very low cost. This is Arzje at yahoo.com. That's ARZJE at yahoo.com. That's how you can get in touch with Ron. But we're going to talk more about that. If you're a struggling songwriter, musician looking for a way to get your songs produced for a very reasonable price, then call Ron at 704-615-3857. I'll put that number up later. But this gentleman has everything. He has a bag of tricks, man. He's a musician, songwriter, guitarist. What else can I say, Ron? What else can I say about you without you patting yourself on the back, man?
Well, those things you mentioned, I don't pat myself on the back about. I pat myself on the back. You know, I hate to move fast forward, but to who I am today, you know, who I am was born to be as a musician and producer. I was trained in that, but I'm just simply now a mentor and a child of God that doesn't mind helping people move to the next phase, even though I haven't moved to the next phase. But I know what it takes, and I have the ability to help.
Yes, I'm very, very, very impressed with you. I love your videos on YouTube. Definitely something, you know, the sounds I like to hear. And you definitely got a fan first, and you got a friend first, and now you got a fan. Definitely paying attention to you, checking out all your pages, doing what I can, and I'm going to continue to support you only because you are a Really Charlie Podcast guest. So I'm going to constantly grab stuff from your pages, put it on my social media so people get familiar of who you are, even though you've been doing this a long, long time.
Thank you.
Who's your inspiration, you know, to get you started in music?
Well, I would have to say the one probably main inspiration has always been there is my dad, Ron Henderson Sr. I grew up watching him singing and playing guitar with his groups back in the day. I'm talking about, I remember my earliest memories with him, even as an infant, I can remember that. You know, and I'm one of the children that followed his footsteps. And even today, you know, when I got to be too much for my mom in DC, I left DC and moved down to North Carolina with my dad. He took me into the studio with him, learning music from the old Reflection Sound recording studio, which is now defunct. Very popular studio, but I learned all about recording and how to put a song together, and really learn how to grow up in the music industry through him and friends that we met through all the times. And and I was trained, and I wanted it so bad. I learned how to produce music under his producer, which was Duke Hall, who was arranger, string and horn arranger on the Shaft album and several other great songs. And my dad just simply said, "You don't need to go to work or nothing. I want you to learn everything that he'll teach you." And so I did. And I was, but I grew up in the business and found a friend that taught me about digital recording. I used to be the best 4-track recorder back in my day. We'd get on that 4-track and we thought we could cut records because I knew how to take 3 tracks and mix them down to one and go back and do about 10 more. But I got to mention my partner with Arzje Productions, Barry Duke, who's a saxophonist, premier songwriter and arranger. He's better than I am. He's a perfectionist. I like to, if I make a mistake on a recording, I'll leave it and call it jazz. So sometimes those mistakes, inspire you to put something in there. But he critiques everything, and he taught me how to do that. But learning how to run a digital, a DAW, I'm using Cubase, but Barry Duke is responsible for teaching me that because he's a white guy, sings with the Catalina band, old beach music group. You can find him on time, but Barry's one of my idols. But growing up, early in guitar, it was Bachman Turner Overdrive, Jimi Hendrix, Creedence Clearwater. That's the kind of stuff that I like back there. Doobie Brothers, growing up, but always listening to doo-wop singers because that's what my dad did.
Yes.
And I'm like I told you last time, I'm not the best at anything, but I have the ability to lead. And for some reason, people give me respect in that position. Because if I can't do it, I know to call somebody that can.
True. It's interesting that you mentioned the beach music, which originated in South Carolina, North Carolina, and and they say that it was the beginning of R&B music. From knowing my history a little bit, R&B started maybe 1940, I believe it was, and the beach music was always around. It was coming around the 50s, I believe, late 40s. But they were saying that a lot of the inspiration for R&B artists came from the beach music down in South Carolina, North Carolina, and basically, if you wanted to hear some stuff, especially with segregation and all that, a lot of the races, both black and white, were wanted to hear that beach music. So they would go to the area, the local bar scene, club scenes, and basically, get to hear that music that you're talking about. And then later there was a gentleman, I can't think of his name, but I said it last week. I just can't remember it right now. But he had a radio station, and he took all that beach music and he started playing it over the air, and everybody jumped to it. It didn't. And that's one thing, man. When it comes to music, our country likes music. So I don't care what you are, black, white, or whatever. If the music's good, they're gonna jam to it.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the old R&B, which beach music adopted, but it's still prevalent today. You could still make a living down in this area playing beach music. I mean, the older folks have grown up with the beach music, and they still go out today. And I just was fortunate enough to be part of it, but I could have been a lot more important in it. But I've had a couple of detours. But through my journey, I've got to play with. I've played with Archie Bell, Clifford Curry, Major Lance, the Shirelles, Al Wilson,
very nice,
Jerry Butler, and most recently Maurice Williams, and the chairman of the board.
Very
one
nice.
Day I'll get you an interview for that because Ken Knox loves to do interviews.
You know me. I could do this every day, man. I could do this every day.
Yes.
I love doing it, and I wish I woke up and was on the airwaves, just doing my thing for
Hmm.
about 8 hours. I just love doing it. We have a comment, Michael Sameo, constant supporter of the Really Charlie podcast, along with
Hey,
WMD1
hey,
Radio.
Michael. Hey,
Yeah,
Michael.
Michael's a good dude, man. We talk daily and share a bunch of interesting things. So, you know, the all right.
Oh,
Now,
hold on. I forgot to drop one more name. It was
sure,
it was
go
funny
ahead.
growing up in the business. Following my dad's footstep. We did about 3 or 4 albums on him. And like I said, my dad's old doo-wopper. He was from that era where most of the guys weren't getting paid, and you had to fight for your money. He's now receiving a little bit of money, but during the early '80s, this lady came to live with us, and we got to produce her. And I got 3 songs on the album of hers that was never released. It's released now on Grapevine Records, but that's been about 20 years ago. But the lady's name was Dottie Pearson, who is
Hmm.
today Grammy Award winner Dottie Peoples. And she used to live with us, and
Wow.
we put songs together. I used to sing back up to her on stage. So I got a little bit of history. So I was
I
proud
love
of
it.
those moments. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I just loved doing it.
I love it. I love it. It's we all got a path, and you
Yes,
know
indeed.
them, and whether it's good, bad, or ugly, it's meant for us, and as you go through it all and you get at this point and you can kind of reflect on things, and all that the whole journey is a teaching moment for the people, for you and
Amen.
for other people that you're dealing with, especially with you and being in the church. That life skills and those life experiences along with the scriptures can make you to be an outstanding mentor. And so I'm glad that you are in places that you're in right now, and you keep up the good work. Um, your sister is on the
Oh,
feed.
yeah,
Tawana, how you
definitely.
doing? I love to I
Oh,
want to say hello to
I
Tawana,
know
my
her.
girl. Yeah, we know her. That writer, that director. she that's a woman in a big chair,
Hey,
man.
speaking of that writer director, yeah, I started. It's funny you mentioned that we talked about early before the show started. I didn't get to tell you that I had started back reading her books over again. I'm back in book one, and
Hmm.
reading it over again, it makes me want to call my mother and tell my mother on her because, like I told you before, I ain't know she had all that in
we,
her.
we're definitely you're gonna have to keep that book in your backpack when you're at church. I love it. That's my girl. She did a great job, and I'm hoping that everything comes her way. All good things come her way. She definitely
Yes, indeed.
deserved it,
Yes, indeed.
and you see it from cover to cover. That it's definitely good writing, man. Good material. So and you can't write that well, and it goes for you too. You can't write that well if you're not a emotional deep person. You have to know and feel that music, the words, and in her case it's writing. And with you it's music. And
Hmm.
I like that vibe, the vibe that I feel when I'm writing. And if I could play an instrument, man, I could just picture, especially just like you do when you get that guitar in your hand and you're singing, man, everything's flowing real nice, real nice, and I enjoy it. Um, seems like your dad or the Lord, they just gave you a gift that was picture perfect for you, and I want you to keep it up, brother.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Well, I thank you, but I don't want to give all the. Go ahead.
What's your latest project? What is your newest project that you're working on now?
Wow, that's a good question. I was at church Sunday, and we have a finance lady that does all our finances for the church, and she preached that Sunday, and she preached on 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And she was talking about, basically chapter 13 is about love. And her topic was what the world needs now is love, sweet love. So guess what struck me and guess what I started just last night? I'm going to do an up-tempo version of Dionne Warwick's What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love. It just moved me. I said, I got to do this one. I want somebody else to sing it though, but I'm going to do a real big production on this.
I love it. See that some wheels keep turning, keep spinning, man, and that's the best thing about it.
Let me give a shout out.
Go ahead, Ron.
I wanted to give a shout out to one person that we really never get to talk about. We just assume that as kids that it's just part of us. But I really need to give a shout out to my mom, because in spite of everything that she's been through, raising 5 kids, and a lot of times basically by herself. I mean, being in the house. Of course, we have a big village of people, but still, my mom was the constant. And you know how moms love is. Mom loves, unconditionally, but she loved me enough that when I got too much, she put me out of town. She said, "You got to go," but she never stopped loving me. And today, man, for her to see who I am today is just a wonderful feeling, because a lot of times when people change, or I'm gonna talk about me, when I change, the people that don't get to see me who I am now, who I've been over the last 10 years, 11 years, the only thing they remember is what they remember. They wait for you to stumble or fall, or can never appreciate the good that God is doing in you because they never get to see it. You don't get mad at it, but the ones who get to experience it, man, it's the biggest peace of mind in the world. So Mom, I know you're in there somewhere, so I want to say thank you to my mother for never giving up. Never.
Yeah, I want to say thank you also to, the people in your family that I do know, which is you and your sister. Tremendous people that I've only known a few months, but the impact you guys have on me, just that daily inspiration is great, and it's a tribute to her and the many other people that raised you all, and so I want to say thank you, moms, also.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's
Tawana,
mother.
We got Tawana crying.
Yeah.
Tawana crying.
Yeah. Don't cry.
Yo, man, I didn't mean to cry either, but it's just, man, Charlie, look, let me, you told me doing the interview, but I told you before,
No,
I'm long-winded. We'll probably never get to what the stuff I want to talk about, but I want to thank you, because, and really thank my sister Tawana for giving you that plug. She's been one of my supporters. Being away from family so long, I literally had to learn how to love my sister the way she deserved to be loved from her brother, because you just can't assume you know what people need if you haven't been around them. But she learned me. We learned each other, and man, we have a great relationship today, and we support one another no matter what, man. I just got to.
That's
whoa!
Right. Amen. Preach, man. Preach, brother. I love it. And it's true. I got many siblings like you, and we took it upon ourselves to make sure that we were close. We're in different houses, and growing up, and but we had this bond. We all got together and build off that, and we're close. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my sister and my brothers. Only because we deserve each other. Our dad was a rolling. Our dad was a Rolling Stone.
No, was he one of those?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I know about that one. My dad's still a Rolling Stone. He just forgot how to roll.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. I love it. The
Oh boy.
the uh when you're in the studio and you know, I don't know about you, but with me, I get in that studio, it's like a wind down. It's like a calm down, just calms me right down, you know. Whether you're gonna get to work or do something, it's just a good venue, a
Mhm.
good setting, you know, and uh you know, when you get there, is it work or is it pleasure? What is it to you? Could be
It
both.
is it's absolute pleasure until I have to sing. Because like I said, I'm not a great singer. I can sing like anybody, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to work on that, you know. Fortunately, I do, today's recording, I don't need to be around anybody. I can just go in my room and shut the door. But when I sing, I got a roommate, people live over the top, so I got to pick the time of day to sing. And
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, if I hit a bad note, and which I hit quite a few, I get to stop and then punch it in. I'm doing the producer, the engineer, and all this at one time. And then you got to listen for cracks. So a lot of times, a lot of my videos, and like I told you before, the videos, they're not complete productions because you never hear any guitar. If you hear some guitar, you'll know when it's finished. But I'll leave it sort of kind of, some notes may be flat or some notes you might hear a crack or something. Only because the reason why I put them out like that is because I learned a long time ago that the only bad publicity in show business is no publicity. And since
True.
I've been out, of the field of playing because of my injury and stuff, I didn't want people to forget about me. So the only way I could do that was continue to put stuff out, and that's why I cover a lot of songs. Because when you cover songs, you get to get into the producer's mind that did it before you, and figure out what they did and why they did that, and then you try to incorporate some of that into your music. And so I cover a lot of songs, so I won't waste away on all my music. And then when I do mine, I get to spend a little bit more time to pick and choose what I do. And you probably do this in your writing. You might hear something that you put in there or listen to it back 1,000 times, and you hear this melody that's being played that you never played because in the production it's implied. So then you say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I need to put that in there. So music will speak to you even if you play the notes or not. But you got to be willing to listen. And to me, I found out that's what life is about. You need to be able to listen to the sounds. When I'm not just talking with your ears, listen with your eyes. You got to hear and sense it all. And you got to know when you're too tired, stop and come back and take a rest and come back and start it over the next day. It took me a long time to learn that, pause. I need to just pause sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's the most important part.
Well, the I wish my dad was around because of some of the writing he did, and actually he was a good singer, and the digital world would have been something amazing to him
Mm-hmm.
because the talent he had, it was just amazing. In fact, he was trying to set up something towards the last part of his life with Linda Ronstadt,
Oh,
a
wow.
musician, and she liked one of his songs, and she wanted to put it into you know in the studio, and they never got connected. But it was definitely an official one-on-one conversation with them, and she liked it, but never came through. And I guarantee you, it would have been a dynamite song.
What happened to the
Uh,
song?
a lot of his is material was tragically tossed in the garbage by a
Ooh,
relative,
wow.
thinking that it was just a bag full of papers, which was at my grandmother's house, and it got tossed. And so every now and then I'll come up with something, some of the things that I have, but nothing with his music. And that's the tragedy of it, is because I think I write a lot, but he wrote every chance he can, whether it was at work, whether it was at home. He was constantly doing it, and it's too bad because there's a lot of things that could have happened for him, like running into somebody like you, and you all getting in the studio and just doing things. This would have been a perfect time for his life, but he had trials and tribulations, and passed away at a very young age. But
Mhm.
anyways, the so that's where I get my writing from, even though he never told me to do it. I didn't find it out that he wrote until I was around 15 years old. So and that's when he found out that I wrote. So for all those years in between, we didn't know anything, and that we both wrote, and he was amazing, very amazing. So the we talked before coming on the air about Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. How did that form? How did you get connected with all that?
Well, 1980, 77 through 81, 82 is when I first moved down to Charlotte. And I got being in Reflection Sound Studio. Duke called, the producer I would tell you about, my dad's producer, came back in town, and we did a couple of albums on my dad, Dottie, and his girlfriend, Chris Astro. And we formed a group. He had a group called Living Color, not the rock and roll group, but Living Color. It was two white girls and one black girl up front. And the band was called Alive and In, so it was called Alive and In Living Color.
Wow.
So we were doing the disco era, and you know what happened. The disco era ran out, and that because we playing the beach circuit, but we were doing Air Force Base tours and stuff like that, or going out of the country. But when the disco ran out, we weren't doing beach music, so the beach music circuit had trouble, accepting us. So, through transitions and changing the personnel, I got married. I married one of the girls, Nancy Henderson, but her real Nelson. She was the last girl with Living Color, and she could sing her butt off. But that's another story. But me and the drummer were the last two original members of Living Color. We decided to disband the group. So this is how I got with Maurice. We was in Alabama Coliseum doing a beach music show. We were doing a beach music show. The Tams, Living Color, a couple of Embers, a couple of other groups. And back then I could sing real high. I would, we had three girls, but I was the soprano over the girl in harmony, but plus one of the lead vocalists for the band. Nice. And Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs were there. And Maurice is such a humble musician. There is not a musician in Charlotte, North Carolina that's my age, or let's just say from 75 to maybe 35 today that Maurice hasn't given an opportunity to play with. He just wants you, long as you learn the song, and if you mess up, he don't look at you. Maurice knows how to control his crowd. So we was Living Color was on stage singing, and Maurice always had people that to sing that high part and stay. Oh, won't you stay? Just he wrote that song, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for the shortest song ever go #1, minute 35 seconds. He still gets paid for that. Nice. So the bass player was singing, when Maurice was singing that at the time. But he was getting burnt out on it. So Maurice looked at the bass player, his name was Kenneth Morris, and he said, Dooley, who was that big-eyed, big-head boy up there singing that high part? So yeah, get it with the group. He was talking about me. So Dooley, So Dooley, they talked to me, and I was really scared to try out for him because Living Color wasn't working that much, because I was intimidated by just the big groups. I knew I could play, but I hadn't played with anybody else except for Living Color. And I knew I could read chord charts, but the music was so simple. But I think I was intimidated more by Maurice and his stardom. But ever since then, he gave me a shot, And, he's been my best friend, like a dad, supported me during my bad time, never turned his back on me. And I sang that high part to the best of my ability until I took a sabbatical. And that group gonna go on. He always found somebody that could sing it. The last person to sing it is Pee Wee Smith, but they had a guy named Fred Mangum, who's probably the most memorable, except for the very first guy named Shane. Shane was the very first Zodiac to sing it. But that's the story how I got with Maurice. And, I took a couple sabbaticals and they replaced me. Nobody's irreplaceable. Don't let anybody tell you that. If you're not the main guy, you're replaceable. They can replace you with somebody. So they did what they had to do, and got the right people in there, and I got with Maurice and been playing ever since, back and forth. But
Good.
He never turned his back on me, and so I never turned my back on him. I'm there for him, his wife. We're just like family.
That's what I'm talking about. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's very good. That's a story. That's many stories. That's actually a book when you start talking about the different groups, different people getting together, and you could just write one chapter after another and end up having a solid book, and I have your video that this is one that I like, so I want to play it.
Okay.
Only because it's something I like, and like I told you earlier, I'm listening to everything that you have, and I become a fan, brother. And you keep up the good work.
All right, go right ahead.
All right, let's do this.
Here we are, holding hands, divided we'll fall, united we'll stand together. I hope this love lasts forever. Girl, your love makes it better.
You caress my pain, my sorrow. Oh, your love makes it better. Together, I know this love will last forever. Your love makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Oh, makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better, makes it better. Your love makes it better, and it makes it better. Your love makes it better, makes it better.
And you are listening to WMB1 Radio. I'm your host, Charlie Perry, and that was Ron Henderson Jr. We are serving you R&B music on the rocks, chilled music with chilled hosts, where you get to listen to the music you love the most on WMB1 Radio. How you like that, brother?
I like that.
That was, I love it, man. Love your talent, brother. You know,
yeah. That was one of the that song was actually written by me as a duet with my wife Nancy. Mm-hmm. She was supposed to sing the high part. You know, every now and then you heard some girls come in there. That was me, and I just decided to do it over a couple of years ago, and couldn't get nobody girl to come in there and sing it. So I'm not gonna let that stop me from producing. So I just did it. Right. Everything you hear, I do everything myself. If I can get somebody to do it, if I can move my portable studio or get somebody overseas to send me a vocal track, I'll do that. But if not, if can't, then I'll just do it myself.
Why not? You know what? Yeah. The biggest obstacle sometimes is ourselves, so, it's, I don't stop. There's one thing with me is if I got to get something done, and I got no help, I'm going to do it on my own, and as I like that. And I like that about you, that you can just go ahead and get it done, and if anything goes wrong, you blame yourself, right?
That's right. That is exactly right.
Yep. So I like to play something of yours eventually on the station. You and I got to talk so we can get something nice and solid, and I'll play it one day on the radio station on Tuesday night. I love to put my local artists, and local people that I know. I like to put them on the airwaves, especially when they just people that may not know who they are. So I'm gonna put Ron Henderson Jr. on the radio station and say, hey, this is my boy, man. Well, this is my friend.
Well, I certainly appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. So your niece was doing that. She was doing the open mic, in spoken word, and I was very impressed with, the talent she has, and that's just another person in your tree doing their thing,
Oh yeah, I watched that. I watched that that video of her the other night myself. She's good. I always expected to be great because that's her niche. She's natural with that stuff, man. I couldn't. She's just so natural. I don't
Yeah,
know how sometimes when you don't know them, you think your children are having trouble finding their way, but when they find their niche, it ain't no stopping. You know that they found what it is that they're passionate about.
hmm Tawana says, "You have my permission to play. Meant to be
You
was
get out of here. Uh-uh. But I can't. Oh, see how she do me. I can't. I can't play it because Charlie doesn't have it, and you never let me do a video of it so I could play it. I don't have the track in here in my laptop. But see, that's the one I was telling you about that last week. When Tawana has another song that is just
Mhm.
woo to me. It's monstrous,
Yep.
but she said it was too explosive,
Yep.
But I listened to it the other night. So yeah, okay, we'll figure out a way to get it done, but I don't have it with me.
Yeah,
Man,
that
what a
would.
song that meant to be.
Yeah, even if
I,
it can be short notice. You can, if you get it all together. Just hit me up, and you do Facebook Live something. And
yeah, okay. Well,
and
we'll definitely get it before she changes her mind.
yeah,
But
see,
it's really a killer song. It really is. It really, really is. I love that song.
good. I love it.
Meant to
I
be.
like I like the way y'all did that collaboration with her. Her video and
Uh,
her reading, and that was real nice. And
yeah, yeah. That was our first time collaborating like that, but it was fun because she had to do her vocal on over her telephone and just send it to me. And it was a learning experience, but she learned how to send me the vocal file, and I was able to pull it into the track. It's great to learn together with somebody. I was that's when I found out she had skills. I knew she
hmm
could write because I read the book, but when her poems are they have a methodical feeling about it. It's melody there. So if she can express that melody to me, then I can interpret it my way. Is it going to be like she wants all the time? Of course not. But I have enough respect for her, and I don't do this with everybody. After
hmm
I do a song and I like the song, and then they tell me they don't like it, of course takes time. It hurts a little bit, but normally I'll go ahead and play it anyway. But I
hmm
respect her enough to not even, if she didn't want it done, I didn't do it.
Yeah, she definitely has the vocal skills to throw stuff out like that. And I mean, I I listened to just one thing of hers, and I liked it, which caused me to look for more. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
more. Especially when something's good. Say, well, I want more of it. And thank God I do have the books. And
Uh,
it's crazy because you have you know when I'm reading a book, I'm picturing her in the background, your sister in the background. I'm like, where is she?
like how you funny because when I'm reading the book and what I'm picturing it's it's not a good sight. Not when you realize that's your sister. I see. Hey Charlie, I just see a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, got on here. Teresa A.
hmm
She's really a dear friend of mine. She is one of the ones that whenever I've released 3 CDs. This lady here, I was with chairman of the board. We became great friends, and she's always supported me and bought my CDs. And she's a very talented lady too. So you might want to do a part. I don't, Teresa, write in there what it is you do, but she paints stuff on glass and all kind of stuff for Christmas items. Oh man, she's super talented. She does hats. She's really a super talented person. She's a great friend, and she got on here, man. But
Yeah,
my time. my time with chairman of the board, and that's my good friend Teresa in there.
Well, because she's your good friend and you're talking highly about her, Teresa A. We got to get you on the Really Charlie podcast and talk shop. Bring your
Yeah,
blessings. Bring your blessings to the screen.
Definitely during holiday season time, like Christmas, because she sells a lot of products. So I'm sure she does stuff online too. And yeah, you would love that. I mean, her stuff is fantastic. I mean, she could take your picture, your face, and paint it on the glass and stuff like those type of things. She's good.
I love it. Well, I won't forget it. I'll definitely reach out to her in the fall and then prepare ourselves for the holiday season. So I definitely get her on here. Michael Sameo says being challenged in life is inevitable, I believe it is, and says being defeated is optional. Inevitable. Yes.
Inevitable.
Sorry.
I like that, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's he inspire me every day, with some of the things that he's doing and teaching me a lot of things too, that I think that sometimes we absorb things that we want to absorb, but sometimes as people we don't search out things, and try to get educated, and it may be out of the scope or something that I'm not particularly looking into. And then all of a sudden Michael will send something to me and I'm like, I didn't know that, and every day he's teaching me something, and I hope I'm inspiring him and teaching him something too. And I definitely know what some words mean, but sometimes I may not be able to pronounce them like you just observed or heard.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of time left, man. I want to get into another area, man, if you possible.
All right. It's your time, man.
I just want to. You
Go
can
ahead.
play some more music and that, but I want to get into how I got to today. Basically, I'm going to give the condensed version because this is a whole nother chapter. But today, I am secure. I don't call myself a Christian. That's for you to say. Because if you ever notice, if you read your Bible carefully, it'll say they were first called Christians in Antioch. But you can imagine what they were doing then. That was a debasement. They go them Christians. So it was something about what they were doing for them to label them that way. But I'm a child. I've been a child of God, but I'm serving Him better today than I ever have because I tried everything in the world. I've had a lot of in and out of prison time. My mom probably don't want me to talk about it, but that journey has helped make me who I am today. In and out of jail quite a bit, running from success, drug use, low self-esteem, and basically what happened was my wife left me and it destroyed me. It destroyed me because I love my wife. She wasn't the best at anything, but marriage to me was to death do you part. I wanted to be better than my dad was, and it turned out that I was worse than. Because when my wife left me, I loved her. I loved her more than my own life. And when she left, she took all the love that I had, even for myself, with her. And that left me an empty shell. So I started looking for love in all the wrong places. And I mean, literally, I started doing all that. So I was never really, I could be on stage. Matter of fact, I was on stage with Maurice Williams in the Zodiac in Richmond, Virginia. And that's when Investor Savings and Loan Bank was opened then. We did a commercial for them. And so we played outside of the Richmond Coliseum, 15,000 people. And part was where won't you stay? The high, won't you stay? It came in where we had to sing, Investor Saving Bank, real high. That was my part. Now you can imagine, people waiting on that stuff, and me doing the stay part. You got 15,000 people going, whoa. But if you tell them, if they feel good, let me hear you say, woo, 50,000 people go, whoa, the biggest thrill in the world. But then when you walk off stage, I'm an empty shell. Didn't even know that was a problem. You know, just I wasn't. As long as I'm on stage, it's fine. But I don't live on stage. Life goes on. So I would keep, you know, backsliding, making half-hearted attempts at sobriety, hoping that I die. I'm too afraid to kill myself. I tried every other thing, but you know, pull the trigger. I tried everything else, but I was just too afraid because I don't know if was sure that I really wanted to do it, but I knew that I didn't want success because I had gotten so used to disappointment. I was living a disappointing life, and I got used to that. You know, being in and out of jail, you do I've done all the programs you want to do, all of them, and gave half-hearted attempts. You know, I used to go to them AA meetings, NA meetings, all that stuff, and I used to go in there and think they trying to brainwash me and stuff until I found out my brain needed washing. So I came into it. My brain needed washing. It wasn't what I was doing, it's how I was thinking. And my best friend today, associate pastor at my church, carries the same name as my mom, Barbara. You know, I was a choir director over at Urban Ministry down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, to help the homeless. And they didn't know I had a secret, and I would disappear in the van until they found me. One day they found me, I was in the hospital paralyzed, totally paralyzed for 25 minutes. And they came in there and they found me, and my girlfriend had to go find the van. And I got out that hospital and couldn't, I barely walk, had no feeling from my shoulders to my fingertips, and still don't have any feeling in there. So it was rough for me to play music. I still tried to gig because I still wanted to get the money so I could buy some drugs. You know, so I tried it all. And eventually I didn't have any more chances. You know, I was running out. I was too scared to steal because I was a habitual felon, too scared to leave the house, looking out the window, and finally Barbara said, I can get you some help if you want some. And I was at wit's end. You know, thank God kept me long enough to get there. I got into this program and I was ready. It still took me a minute to grasp hold to it, but Alfred Adler says it takes about 21 days to develop a habit. And I said, I done tried everything else, so let me try this. Even if I was faking it, I was going to try it sincerely, whether I was faking it or not. And it actually worked. It actually worked. I started to see a difference. Then I started to feel different. Then I started to do different stuff. You know, it wasn't, I used to feel a certain kind of way and move straight on to the action. But now I could feel something. I could think about it. I can pause before I make the action or do what it is I'm going to do. So that gives me an opportunity to be responsible for whatever it is the outcome is. But that pause, that moment to wait before the action was exactly what I needed. And man, when I got that, man, God, I didn't get afraid to tell my story. And my story was dirty and nasty. And I'm sure other people got nasty stories like that. But I used to, you get afraid to tell people because you didn't want people talking about what they heard you say. But then when I started hearing people repeat my story, I hit them like I said, oh shoot, they telling the clean version. If you want to know how nasty it was, come ask me. They're not telling you the truth. So they really not even telling how bad it was. So I wish it was like the way they told it.
Yep. It's
well,
like
man,
your sister
life
said it.
changed. And life changed, and it's worth it. It's still changing. Am I perfect? No way. I had spinal decompression surgery. I still can't play. I could play if I practice, but I'm a little insecure about playing because I never was the greatest guitar player, but I was very good. But now I'm not even very good anymore. But could I become very good? Yeah. But I don't want playing music to define who I am. I'm a musician, yes, but like I tell you, I'm so much more than that. I got people to look up to me now. I got family that believe in me. I got people that love me. I got a 2014 Toyota Camry that somebody gave to me with 18,000 miles on it, original miles.
Nice.
So I'm saying, look here, life will change if you want it to change, but we got to look at it. Don't change overnight. I got to do the work. I got to really want it, and I got to start playing the game. And I got fired out of chairman of the board because I ran my mouth too much. Didn't show up for gigs. I could still have that job, but what I still wanted, no, I don't need to. I just got turned down about $1,000 in the last couple of weeks. People calling me to play, and I don't want to play right now. I want to get well. I want to help people. I got an operation coming up on my feet pretty soon, so I want to heal, not just spiritually, but I can play anytime I want. I don't have to play. And that's the difference. Before I was playing for the drugs. It started out playing for trying to be a star, but I was afraid of success. That was part of the problem too. But now when I play because I want to play. I enjoy playing. And like I said, I get to be so much more than just a musician. And the sad thing about it, a lot of people don't get to experience the good part. And that's your loss.
Yep.
I'm through talking for the day, man. My mouth is dry.
People sometimes think that your good is a game.
That's where I'm at with that right now. I really will work it out. Call me.
That's good. Ron.
That movie Eddie Murphy was in with that. Go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, I hear you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know I ran out of time on you. That movie that Eddie Murphy played, and I don't know if you know the name of it, but the guy that played with Will Smith when they were fighting the Martian was in that movie, and he was called G. Eddie Murphy was like Jesus or something in that movie, and the favorite line in that, I can't remember the name of that movie. Tawana probably knows, but the favorite line in that movie, Eddie Murphy said, was telling that guy that your good is better and your better is blessed. That's how I try to live.
That's it. I love it. It's a good saying. Good saying. The I was saying that people tend to they think you're good as a game when you're changing, and that change they're a little hesitant about your changing. And like, look, I'm changing for me. I'm changing for the better of me. This ain't no game, man. You don't have to trust me, but you can follow me, and you're going to see how good this thing is for me. And that's what happens when people of the past, just looking at you with that, crooked eye, and wondering what's your game, what are you up to, what are you trying to do, I know Ron Henderson of 1985. What's he up to right now? What's he trying to do to me? And so don't worry. You keep doing what you're doing, man. One step at a time, and you're gonna be all right. And physically get better. Physically, get your body in shape. So you do. Reap the benefits of your blessings that you do have. And
Amen.
Music is there, mentoring is there, so do it all, man. Just do it all. We only live once.
Amen. You get ready to run out of time. Why don't you close? Can you close with that thing with me and with the cane in my hand and that guy singing?
Let me see. All right, let me look for it. Hold on. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Oh, with Maurice. Okay.
Oh, it's on my Facebook page.
This. Hold on. Let me just go to Facebook then.
Let me see if I can share it with you. My computer's running so slow, it's crazy.
So I'm gonna sign into my Facebook and grab it.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I beat you. I beat you.
That's a good thing.
I'm going to put it in the chat box.
All right.
I don't know how to put it in the chat box. I don't have any places. I don't know how to do it. You got it?
Hold on. I'm gonna grab it from Facebook.
I don't know how to get it in the chat box. I'm slow.
Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So if you had to tell your mama something about Tawana, what would it be? Because you know she's listening. What would you tell your mom about your sister?
That she nasty. She nasty. She the Tawana. My mom already knows she's nice, nasty. She's very passionate.
Yeah, she is.
That you see that in the chat box right there?
Hold on, let me check it out. Yeah. Chat, I got it. And let me copy it. And all right. Let's see. Go share this screen.
Tawana goes, nice, nasty. I meant it in a nice way, sis.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Hold on.
I didn't mean to have you go through all that.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm just want to make sure the screen is right. Maurice. And what I do. All right, let's try this again. What I was looking for is something else, and so now there we go.
Tell me you're going to. Now you're talking about Chihuahua. We have another now. Yeah, Chihuahua. One more time. To stay. Just a little bit
That's the
Go, brother.
yeah, that's it. You see that cane right there? That was right after me being paralyzed.
Chihuahua, we have another now. Chihuahua, one more time to stay. Just a little bit longer.
Charlie, that was right around the corner from your house.
Nice. You are listening to
that's right around the corner from
WMB1
your
Radio. Nice, yeah. Where was that? That was at the
That
Zyterion?
was the Zyterion.
Oh my God, the Z. Nice. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to speak to my people, man, see if they have any pictures of that day. You know, what year was that again?
All you got to do is, let me see. Should be on here when Todd posted it. But Todd Baptiste, he knows about you. If you reach out to him, he may have some pictures from. But you know the people in there, so they probably do.
Yeah.
But I mentioned him to you.
Yes. I'm gonna reach out to him, grab him on Facebook, so him and I can communicate and keep that history alive. You know.
Oh yeah.
Well, Ron.
Well, young man, I guess our time is up, huh?
Yeah, this is definitely, hopefully, not your last time on this podcast. You come on here anytime, no matter what. You could talk about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be music. You want to come on here, just let me know, and we're gonna definitely put you on here anytime you want, because I'm proud of you, brother, and you keep up the good work.
Well, thank you, man. And a secret code to my sister, I think I need to be back, or when she comes back, because it's meant to be.
True. Yes. You count that. You know that's coming on. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Amen. So
that would be nice. Ron and Tawana on the same podcast with Really Charlie. That would be nice.
Hey, how about that?
All right, brother. You need me? Give me a holler. You know.
Certainly will, bro.
And you need anything in Charlotte? You still give me a holler, because I got folks down there too. And
okay, that's a bet, man. That's a bet. Let me know when you get down this way. Or matter of fact, I need to come up that way anyway. I got some stuff I need to do up there. That's going to be after I'm healed from my foot operation, but I'm going to come that way.
Please do.
Oh, yes, sir. I really enjoyed this, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Perry of the Really Charlie Show. Really, Charlie?
Yeah. And I love it. Keep up the good work, man. Let's keep in touch.
All right, now. Have a good one.
Love you. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Yeah. Ron Henderson Jr., my man. I met him through his lovely sister, Tawana Chisley. And I'm glad that she introduced me to him. And we're gonna build off our friendship and continue to support each other. As you see, a very talented musician, and we will have him on again to sing that song that he's talking about. So I'll be back on tomorrow, 7 p.m., same time, with Marvin Speller, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be talking about mental health and making mental health a priority in your life. So please join me tomorrow. I like talking to y'all, like communicating about many, many things. And mental health is very, very important. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to end with my song by my intro by Lionel Walker. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. God bless. Take care.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.